News Channel 5 Network. This is Morning Line with Nick Beres.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Morning Line. I am Nick Beres. It is a Tuesday. It is Election Day. If you haven't already voted, hey, get out. Get off your butt and go vote. Watch the show, but then go out. The weather looks like it's nice. The polling, places, I think, are all open at this hour. Most of them should certainly be open. We haven't had any really significant reports of problems so far today, which is good. So hope you get out and vote today if you haven't early voted. And, of course, stay tuned for our special election coverage that will begin tonight. We've got a whole team of folks coming in to get you the results and get a breakdown on how everything plays out politically tonight, not just locally, but nationally. So tune in for that. But today, we're not talking politics. Today, we're going to be talking legal matters as they pertain, especially to some of us who are getting a little bit older. And we're talking about elder care law, which can be everything from estate planning to writing a will. Do you have a will in place, to thinking about getting power of attorney for yourself, or perhaps your parents are slowing down a bit and you'd like to have power of attorney in case one of them becomes incapacitated. There's so many things to consider on that front. And listen, if you haven't addressed it, there's a lot of things I still need to get on top of to get going with, because we tend to put these things off. Now's your chance to ask some questions or get an idea of how to get it all done with our guest, who's been a regular with us for years. And, many of his colleagues come on, so it's always a pleasure when the big dog, Tim Takacs Elder Law, joins us this morning. Good morning, Tim. How are you?
Good morning, Nick. How are you doing?
I'm well. It is really good to see you. You know I love Chris and I love Barbara, but you and I go way back.
Yes. Way back to when you were a little boy and I was a little boy.
Yeah, when no one knew what elder law was, and that you were on the cutting edge of that. And now you've got this prospering practice, and you tour the country, helping others get these practices started.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's because of baby
I'm very
boomers.
blessed.
Everyone's aging. All right, so let folks know. I try to give a little primer there, since it's been a while since you've been on. For our viewers, in case they have questions, the number's on the screen, the types of things that come under the elder law umbrella that you work with, so we can let them know if they want to call in.
Well, certainly, as you mentioned estate planning, wills, powers of attorney, those sorts of things. A lot of stuff that happens like a will, like when you're dead.
Yeah.
But largely what we deal with in elder law and elder care law is dealing with the living older client, the living older person. So, we have 75-year-olds or 80-year-olds or sometimes younger or older that are coming in, and in addition to talking about wills and estate planning and so forth, they're coming in because they have a spouse who has Alzheimer's disease, or maybe they're not healthy or very healthy themselves, and they're concerned about, how do I get the care that I need? How am I going to pay for it? Are there public benefits that can help me? Will Medicare pay for things? What can Social Security do for me? All of those sorts of things. Can I get veteran benefits? Is TennCare in my future? How do I protect my assets so the nursing home doesn't get it? All of those sorts of things that we hear, that's really the stuff of what we do every day. And
I think you hit it on the head. A lot of people wondering, well, how am I going to pay for it? And I know some people watching this, and you are an attorney and a very good one at that, and you get paid for your services. If someone's watching, can you kind of put it in perspective? Some people may be sitting there, and a lot of seniors are on a somewhat fixed income, and they may think, well, I'd love to do some of this, but I don't think I can afford to go to a Tim Takacs. And maybe some people truly can't. But, depending on the size of a state, you don't have to have thousands and thousands of dollars to hire an attorney to help you set up a will. Give people an idea of how they can afford to pay for some of the services you offer.
We may, for instance, a basic estate plan that we'll do for people, it may run around $1,500 or so, up to into several thousands of dollars when people are coming into us, and they're because they're paying $9,000 or $10,000 to the nursing home, and they're worried about running out of money and how they can qualify for TennCare or Medicaid or something like that. So it really runs the gamut, from I won't say a modest amount of money, because modest is in the eye of the beholder, but it could be a lot of it is certainly based upon certainly the specialty that we have. Also about things like what the value of our services are. So if a person's coming to us, and they're trying to qualify for a veteran's benefit that maybe they might be entitled to for, could be, maybe $2,500 a month or more that they're been eligible for when we're working with them. So yeah, a lot of it depends upon just those kind of basics.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, speaking from personal experience, and obviously I've learned a lot from you and you've referred me, but I mean, what you get from what you're talking about when you're talking about the expense, one, is peace of mind that you have these affairs in order. For a lot of people, that's important. Okay, the peace of mind. But two, I think also some of the services you provide, while there's that money up front that you pay for you to help set things up, saves people money down the road. And, the attorney you referred me to that helped me with my folks in their assisted living facility and getting onto Medicare saved us thousands of dollars down the road because he knew how to set certain things up. And I'm not talking about hinky stuff. I'm like, within the law, the right way to set it up, which in a million years, my brother and I would never have been able to figure out, just muddling through how Medicare works and Medicaid. And he helped us set it up, and it saved us thousands of dollars, which we wouldn't have known had we not sought him out. Thanks, by the way, to your recommendation in Boise, Idaho.
Yeah, and certainly it's not just, and of course it's, saving the money. A lot of it is who are we saving it for? It's not just like Nick and his brother, but also so that there's a fund of money that you're able to provide for your parents.
I guess we should say, you're not a financial advisor, okay? You are an estate, but you can help organize and set up an estate, and you can you can give advice too, can't you? To some degree, when people ask some certain questions about Social Security.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we. People come in a lot and they ask about, what am I entitled to with Social Security? How do I, should I apply for benefits now? Should I wait? Are my Social Security benefits taxed? All those sorts of things. Those are legal questions that we, that we're able to answer. Now for people that come in and say, well, Tim, I've got $100,000 here, and how should I invest it? I'll try to refer them to maybe a financial planner or somebody like that, but that's really not. I don't do financial planning, and the financial planners don't do estate planning.
Exactly. But from the legal perspective, if a family comes in and they're talking and they're saying, yes, listen, I'm thinking of maybe taking Social Security early or maybe waiting later. Again, I know that part of it will be, look, you need to talk to your financial planner. What other assets do you have? But do you have kind of a rule of thumb, maybe one that you look at for yourself, and everyone's different? What do you think you should consider when you think about whether or not you want to take it a bit early, okay, which means you're not going to get as much down the road, or waiting until later? What rules of thumb do you follow? Because a lot of people are taking it, I've heard, early now instead of waiting.
Right. Yeah, a lot of it depends upon your health. So for instance, if you're, let's say you're 62, 63 years old and you can draw on benefits, maybe if you're not in good health and you're not working or you need the money, maybe at that point, then you take it. The general rule seems to be, and it's really not a general rule, but a lot of times is that you want, unless there's some compelling reason otherwise, you want to take it so that you can draw the maximum benefit.
Right. I can say, you want the maximum benefit, but obviously if it's something you need right now,
absolutely.
and you want to go, I think a lot of people had a little bit of a change of attitude coming out of the pandemic, Tim. I don't know if you've noticed that, where it's kind of like, all right, life can be short and you can get a curveball, and I'd like to use this money, and I'd rather just go ahead and take it now than wait. Have you seen that?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. When it's like leaving money on the table, you have people that are leaving the workforce and they're going, you particularly have workers who, let's say who are in construction or other heavy labor that really can't work anymore and are not really and maybe they're in their mid 60s and they're going, I can wait until when I'm 70 or whatever it is and draw a maximum benefit, but I just need this money now.
Yep. Listen, as we go to
that's ultimately that's what it's about.
Right.
That money is there. Draw it when you need it.
And everyone's going to be a bit different, but I couldn't agree with you more. And we'll go to the break, and as we do go to the break, I want to remind folks, you've probably heard it as well. I guess it becomes official in the next week or two, but there's going to be a substantial cost of living increase to the monthly Social Security payment this year, meaning probably more. Usually, as well as I do, Tim, when they do that, the cost of living increase in Social Security is just offset by the increase in your medical pills and the medicine costs.
Absolutely.
But the thinking this year is that it'll be even more than beyond what your medicine cost increase under Plan D will be. And so that'll be more money in the pockets of recipients, which is neat. So listen, and we'll report that when the official number comes down, but that's the word. We'll take a break. When we come back, we can take some phone calls for Tim, who's joining us, of course, on Zoom, 737-7587. And Tim, I also have some questions that have come in for you on folks who have followed the show on Facebook and knew you were coming on. So I'll share those with you, and you can answer them when we come back right after this. Stay with us.